You can't be in here because you don't know how to stay on the ground. Are you going to stay on the ground? Ma'am? Miss Daisy? Oh, you're going to flop on the floor in front of everybody here. And you're going to make me pet you. Oh, see, you're just out of frame. Oh, you're so beautiful, though. Yeah. If you can stay on the floor, you can stay in here. If you can't stay on the floor, I gotta have you in the other room. All right. What's going on, everybody? Okay. I have Daisy in here with me. We're gonna see how long she maintains her floor-based location. Would you like to come up and say hello, Miss Daisy? Oh, she's so big. Say hello. Yeah. I just know you're not going to stay on the floor. Bjorn is still at work. Say hi, Bjorn. Yeah, she got the big purrs on today. Yeah, I'm going to do some art. Yes, ma'am. You going to stay on the ground? Keep your nails out of me. Ah. There we go. There you go, miss. You can hang out under the table. I know you like it down there. So, I have a portal. That's one thing I want to do. So I have a portal cut over there. That's part of Gimmick's lore. And I have that piece cut out, ready to make work. I have a toy shed, I guess it would be. But give me 1 second here, because I do believe I can do a thing. Click that little link here. Copy that link. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if this works. I hope it works. Hello, ma'am. Going, yeah, see? You did a good job. What'd I tell you about being on the ground, though? I need you. I need your tail out of the camera lens for sure. But I need you on the ground, ma'am. This is Daisy, for everybody who doesn't know or hasn't been able to distinguish her from her big brother. And I say big brother just because he's bigger. Daisy's actually older. She's a year older than her brother, we believe. Huh. Yeah. You're so smart. And you keep those boys on their toes and give them a hard time. Yes, ma'am. She's full of purrs right now, and she's doing... Oh, there's something on the screen. Oh, it's the lighting. Yeah, okay, see, this is why we don't have daisies up on the table. Yeah, that stranger figure is dope, and I'm glad I'm glad we're getting it. Let me bring Miss Daisy into the kitchen here. Come on, gorgeous. What's your tail? She's so beautiful, but she just does not understand. She got to stay on the ground in here, especially in here. Go play, miss. Love you. You're very beautiful. The audience thanks you for your time. But yeah, those were some great reveals today at MCM London. I'm glad that we got them. Yeah, I was curious about those because there's a few ways to do them. We'll see. I know some people are convinced that it's not going to have any thigh swivel. I give them a little more credit, Hasbro. I think a lot of that's renders, and I think it's going to have thigh cut. I'm not completely writing that off. There we go. But no, it was a good series of reveals, and I'm here for it. But I did this yesterday while I was jack-jawing with Abby. Built another wall mount trophy for the Mandalorian wall. So I think I'm going to paint this first just to get it done and out of the way. Or the Mandalorian, like, I have that gate there. And I have dinosaur skulls and a mythosaur crest and things. I want it to be like marked with a trophy to like really signify that they've got a pretty good lockdown on that section of the city. So let's get that set there. I'm just gonna do a couple of washes. Dirty paint water. We'll do a burnt umber. Burnt sienna? No, this is burnt. Yeah, this is burnt sienna. But we'll do like a really, really runny wash of it. So I'm gonna get even more paint water, dribble it in there. There we go. Because I want it to look like bone. And if you've ever seen bones that have been outside for a long time, they do have a certain look. So I'm just doing that with the unicorn horn, since I'm imagining, or whatever creature this was, maybe it wasn't a unicorn. I'm imagining the keratin is what's in fingernails and such. I imagine that ages at a different color, so I'll probably do that like a whiter. But right now, just get this, I know, Daisy, I'd love to be in here too, but Miss Ma'am can't stay off the upper surfaces and wants to climb and gimmick, and we can't have that. She's like just sitting right outside the door. I can hear her. She flopped down in front of it. We've got get some of that water out of there. There we go. Starting to look like bone. A little more than it was. We'll get that on there. And what did I want from over there? I wanted something. Doesn't matter. All right. So we got that. And yeah, I'm just gonna do a lot of art stuff today that I couldn't do this week just due to can't stay left alike. Thanks, Red. That I wasn't able to do this week just due to work and other things going on, as it were. So, and that's fine, because sometimes life gets not in the way, but sometimes life happens, and we all got to take care of those things before we can do stuff like this. If this were my full-time gig, we'd have a little bit of a different story, but neither here nor there. That may be something coming sooner than later. I don't know, I can't promise, and I don't want to presume, but I also recognize it's a little tougher out there for everybody, so enjoy the art and enjoy your time when you can get it. When you can take some time to craft or, do whatever it is, your creative expression. I know I have a couple of musicians who are friends of mine that come in and pop in that are really talented. Their thing is maybe not necessarily making physical art projects like this, but instead making recordings and live sessions and demos and stuff, and that's really freaking dope too. So I recommend that if that's your jam. And let's put something on here. I want to, like, I don't know, metal up the frame a little bit, make it more of like a, I don't know, the skull's maybe perhaps locked to it. Don't know if I want to use sprues or what I want to use yet, so I'm gonna think here for a hot second. Toothpicks, that's what I'll use. Those are always fun, they're inexpensive, and that's dropped a few, but we'll only need 4, but I'm gonna give myself 5 because I know me. And if I give myself 4 and I'm like, oh, I will do perfectly with just these 4, I will not do perfectly with just those 4. I'll make a mess, I will forget, I'll break one or whatever. We'll need a sanding stick and a pair of snips. So I just want this to have like some sort of detail around it. So we'll go, yeah, looks like we just got to cut that tip off there. All right. I like that. All right, I'm going to knock some stuff over first, but I'm going to glue this in place by putting the angle down. I'm going to put a couple of drops there, there, and there. Okay. All right. Take our zap kicker, which I'm low on. I gotta get some more of that because I accidentally tipped the bottle over using it like this. What I should do is get a bottle, right? And then get a separate dropper bottle with a little pipette and use it that way. But for now, I either spray it or I use the tip of the hose to just put a couple of drops on the hot glue, and it helps rapid kick that. And now that that's hot glued on there, or excuse me, super glued on there really quick, I can just cut that off. Now I've got just some type of not amusing, but some type of interesting looking material there. I'm just going to do the same. I'm not even going to cut the other end off. I'll cut those off secondary to getting them on here, just so that I can ensure a good grip. What's up, Abby? How are you? How are you? I was just, I'm working on that unicorn mount that I did while we were chatting. And right now I am putting some details on it just to add a little visual interest and storytelling. And I was saying how I knocked over my Instaset, my zap kicker, whatever you want to call it. And I should get a little bottle with a pipette. But, ouch. And I'd given this little unicorn, or whatever creature it is, a wash of some burnt sienna and paint water to make it bony, and then I'm going to do the unicorn horn a little bit lighter. Now, I kind of dig just those pieces on there. Thought about maybe cutting some center pieces here, but what if I just did like on the side, right? So if I just gave this some sort of like visual, I don't even know that it needs that much, just something. This little bit of something seems to have satisfied my brain, which is usually, Howdy, what's up? Which is usually what I go after, is just the thing to make the itch of make and do to stop in my brain. But maybe this way? Like across the top? No, I don't think it would look good across the top. Let's see here. To hell with it, we'll do it live. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be hanging on a wall as a fictional trophy. And, yeah. And if I'm not careful, it's going to wind up super glued to me like it just was, so. Son of a bitch. I was actually just saying to my friend Sarah the other day, who is not a big fan of super glue at all, some super glues, it seems like just like the generic cyanoacrylate super glue. I'm not talking about like name brand crazy glue or gorilla glue or whatever. It seems like some of them just have, at any given point, their viscosity can change, and also at any given point their how much adhesion, that did not work out, how much adhesion they have can just like be different across. Like I might get a tube of 6 of these from one brand, and 4 or 5 of them will be like, it's got instant grab to it, just absolutely instant grab to it. And then another, you know, another one in there might take a few seconds to cure compared to that. And it's just like, I don't know if it's the chemical mix or whatever, but it seems like there's no real consistency across until you start getting into like the kinds that are mixed with things to make them adhere better and adapt better to certain like materials. And I don't know, one of those oddball things that I noticed. Maybe I'm the only one that notices, and maybe it's just me and my impatience, because I am like I'm like a toddler when it comes to waiting for glue to dry and paint to dry, which is I think why I like dry brushing so much and spray painting, because I can kind of trick those things into curing quicker, at least quick enough for me to put another layer on. Epoxy. The fuck did you call me? Hey, there he goes, walking down the street, Mr. Friggin' Epoxy there. Can't spell, apparently. Well, you know, Brian, I really thought you would be able to spell a little bit better. Not gonna lie to you, I'm just disappointed. Ow. Alright, put my little thingy across, ouch, there. And now, I'll save those little spiky bits, because I have used those as like punk rock horns. But also, they probably make like cool teeth for something. Maybe on one of my xenomorph builds or whatever, critters. Or maybe they're just spikes for weapons. We'll just sand those so they're flush. Now I'm gonna let that see. And what did I say? If I didn't grab this 4th one, I would have absolutely, or 5th one. Good, Nebula. Welcome, welcome. I would have absolutely needed it. Give me 1 second here, kids. I'm trying to share my own link here. There it is. The internet is amazing. Oh. Cool. So we have that going on there. I'm liking that. I am going to get in those sockets, I think, with a little bit of pure burnt sienna, or maybe some black wash, and just darken those up. Probably give the teeth a little bit of white too. But it's starting to come together. Just something to look at on the walls, some world building. Again, I like all the little things. I like the details. Drive, you know, the next time you're in a city, and I know some of my fans, friends, and followers, whatever you want to call yourselves, I always think it's like, oh, my fans. All right, I mean, I do have fans, let's be honest. I am, you know, I'm pretty awesome, but I don't like saying that. It's weird. But anyway, I know some of you folks that watch are based in like faraway locations, or you live in a, you know, a faraway area. You like your privacy and everything. The next time you're into a city or like a somewhat big town, look around at all like the things that are on stuff. Don't necessarily focus on the buildings, but just look at the gang boxes that are on the outside, the electrical cables and cords that run along, the gutters, how the gutters are laid out. Like, pay attention to those things. Posters and flyers that have been on the walls for years, no parking signs that are rusted. Like, all those things add character to whatever they're on. It adds depth and texture And as you guys can see on these things, you know, I like adding depth and texture. I like adding all kinds of layers of things. So it's not just a, you know, Fannon's weird little quirk. I mean, it is one of my weird little quirks, but I like the process of what I'm doing. I like adding that because to me, that makes it look more realistic. It looks like it's got more depth. So that's on there. So we got these little teeth guys here. We'll put those over there for now. Let's get some cruddy black paint. I'm just going to give those a hit real quick so that they can take paint in a minute. Because again, as I said, patience of like a 5-year-old when it comes to paint drying. I'll go ahead and clean that stain out of there. I should get a paper towel. But we'll just get this paint right on here so that when I start to dry brush whatever color I want on there, or maybe I put down a base coat of another color to give it some more depth and character. These are all painted up and ready to be weathered and dried and all that stuff. Cool. And I didn't get any on the pony, the unicorn head. But another great place to look is watch your favorite movies, especially older ones. If you're a big Blade Runner fan, I'm sure you've noticed so many things in the background. I always find new things with like even Star Wars. Just pay attention to the less focused on detail and you'll see amazing things and just how much depth and layering is there without it being so apparent. It just gives it that realistic touch, that realistic feeling. And that's what I want my dioramas to look like. I want them to be realistic enough for me and realistic enough for the viewer that they, you know, they don't necessarily focus on that, but they know that there's something about it that makes it more realistic. Makes it more familiar, almost a little familiar, but still strange. I did get black on the pony. Son of a bitch. Get out of there. You get off this nice guy right now, you son of a bitch. All right, I'm gonna grab a paper towel from over here. Shop gloves. Okay. Again, thank you. I like that I stood up for 2 seconds and a whole pile of viewers vanished. I don't know if maybe people are following the hashtag and they were like, damn, this guy really doesn't like AI. But that's funny to me. But thanks to my patrons, I did go out and restock on some consumables, these shop claws that I really get mileage out of. They've gone up in price, so it's good to get a box of those and get them for cheaper. All right, so that's there. What else do I want to work on today? So many things. I have so many things to work on. I have my Gungan, but I didn't get my Arabish library pulled up. And that's on me. You'd think I'd have it printed out and like mounted on the wall, which is something I should consider doing, truth be told. But I want to do the, because I have a motorcycle club of Gungans in Gimmick, and I wanted to do their logo on his back and do it in Arabish. But we'll wait on that. He can chill right there. He doesn't need to be right in the diorama this second. Or maybe he does. Who knows? But I know one thing I wanted to do was from that Star Trek robot. It came with this really cool briefcase thing, but I don't want to use it as a briefcase. I want to use it as wall panels. So I'm going to go ahead and take my cutters, my flesh cutters here, and make some people mad. But I'm going to cut that handle off. Snip there. Snip there. Possibly. Oh, it's that good plastic. Take my knife and just make it a little more flush where I cut it. take my knife and go right down the hinge. There we go. A couple of cuts there, and now it's got a little peg on it, which you guys can see. It's got a peg on it, so we'll go ahead and we're just gonna nip that peg off of there, and we're gonna cool. Then I'll rotate it. I'll do it again this direction. Cut that off. Like I said, just taking my little knife here. Trim that off there. Use my sanding stick. Use the rough edge to take down a lot of the plastic that's still sticking up, and then just smooth it out. It's got a little health sticker on there, maybe. Shows the medical symbol and a couple of charts, but I don't necessarily want it to be a health thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that sticker. I'll stick it on, got some sticker paper over here. I'll put that on, save it for another time. But now I've got a little, setup here. And you know what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna take this light and bring it right around here. There we go. Now you guys will be seeing in HD. I think, is that too bright? Cool. Gravity works, guys. I paid my gravity bill this month. Again, thank you to my patrons. So things will fall over, especially when old famine doesn't balance them correctly. This would probably do better on a more sturdy tripod, but I'm working with the tripod that I've got right now. So this is what we get. Cool. Hopefully that's not too blinding for you. So we're going to go ahead and change it to, nope. Yeah, that's better. That's the same. I'm going to pretend like I just changed something. You guys will be like, wow. Yeah, so if you could sound off in the chat and be like, wow, famine, incredible, absolutely amazing. You're the best to ever turn on a light. I'll be like, oh, you. Probably. Doesn't help that I've got my hat on, which is also blocking the overhead light for me and you guys. So I just took my hat off. So if you came here to see me in a hat, well, stick around. What's up, Ian? Out he gets it. So now I've got two panels, two electronic panels, and I think one of the things I'm going to put on the panel is one of my sorry out of order ATM decals that I made for my patrons. I think I've got them available over there. I think I uploaded those. So if you want those, that's where you can get them. I think they're on all the tiers, available on all the tiers. But if not, I will make sure that I get those up there or update the file. Maybe share the Google Drive. But I don't know what this panel is going to be for, but it's going to be out of order. Or maybe it won't be the out of order one. Maybe I'll just use the digital static behind it and save the out of order sign for something else. What's up, Red? I thought you were driving. If you are, drive carefully. If you're not, welcome. Stuck to my finger. Yeah, we'll use that. Cool. We'll keep. I like to keep little scraps of material. Not too many like this crap, no. But like, you know, if it's got a reasonable picture on it or something that I can layer onto another thing later, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Old Famine keeps it. So I'll just, using the sanding stick to give that a little bit of tooth. I think I'm actually going to use this to give it even more. This is an Old Famine, like, cosplay trick holdover, where you take your knife or whatever, you know, sharp implement, and you're scoring the surface up in multiple directions. So you're giving the surface of whatever you're going to glue enough tooth, which is like gription, for the glue to grab hold on, and then hold whatever you've got there. So I've done that. And now what I'll do is I'll take a bit of Eileen's Tacky Glue Turbo, put it on there. I'll take a toothpick, and I'm just blocking this so you can't see. Let's see. I'm just smearing it around to the edges. And I'm going to wind up with a lot of excess on here, so I'm going to clean that up before we attach this sticker. But just kind of using the toothpick to move it around this rectangle to get it to all the edges, because we want it to lay flat if we can help it. And I will go over it with Mod Podge to seal it in, which will also help it grab. But I want the back to really be sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, I've smeared that glue around, and now I've taken the majority off of it there. Let it sit for a couple of seconds while I just trim this one edge of white off of here, because it's came off of a piece of paper. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Put that on there. Now that's flush with that edge. Use this knife. Push, 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 push. And now I'm gonna find that lip, cut right across it. Boom. Now once this glue dries, we'll have a coating of Mod Podge on there, and that'll be a screen. And as I said, I'll put the Mod Podge just over the whatever that panel is. But for now, let's take Nuln Oil. Now that's grounded K. Take some Nuln Oil, shake it up, and we'll use the same toothpick. Get a nice droplet of water out, or Nuln Oil in there, and just go in here and kind of use it to panel line in this, because there's a bunch of little panel lines. Custom copy puppet in. Oh, the Dilophosaurus person thing. And I am, like I said, just using the Nuln Oil like panel liner. I don't know, probably as expensive as panel liner, maybe a little less. Who knows? I actually don't build Gundams, so I don't know how much their panel liners cost, but I know some people really enjoy them Gundams. I think Bjorn is a big Gundam fan. I remember reading that. See, what's great is if Bjorn's with a customer right now, he can't defend himself. So I can make the audience think, ah, he came back. I mean, yay, Bjorn's here. I was going to see if I can make these guys think you were like a big Gundam fan. See? Just adding panel lines gives it more depth. Also, there we go. Cool, there's some more space there that could use some more. Cool. And I just love little things like that you can put on the background or put against a wall. Maybe we'll use the paint markers to give it like some buttons, some value, some more production value. Let's see here. This is a black paint marker, and I'm just gonna go, no, I'm not gonna use black. We've done that. Let's do blue and orange. That's always a good color combination. That's why you see it on so many movie posters. So we'll take some of this good bright orange here. We'll like put it on the frame of this thing. I should have put down pink first, but that'll be all right. And I should also move that so it doesn't block the frame. I'm real good at this streaming thing, guys. Now we've got this really, really bright neon orange. We'll use it right here, in between, and maybe on the top. Use that. Cool. And as soon as that's done drying, go ahead and give this one more pass of this orange. So we've done orange on there. We've got blue. Let's get a darker blue. And we'll use the dark blue to do this side. And this is just one of those odd bits of detailing that I took a piece of straight, plain plastic. Could have been just, I could have stuck it in a character's hands, or I could have left it as a briefcase, let them wander around with it, but now I've got something that's, something that's got a little more production value, a little more fun to it. I can say stay tuned. Yeah, Abby, you got any dinosaurs? Did you get any new dinosaurs lately? The audience wants to know. Hell yeah, I like that. That'll look cool. Hanging up on a wall. We won't do this one right now, but this will be another panel for another day. But that's, again, it's something that's got depth, character. Maybe I'll make that as like a vid phone column or a droid patch or something, maybe on a ship, an access panel. But I like that one as a little panel, and once that's dried up enough and I'm happy with it, I'll use the Mod Podge to put the what's up, Rob Michael? I'll use the Mod Podge to seal the faux screen that's there, that little bitty screen there. A few, nothing crazy though. What'd you get? Share with the class. Alright, so we got this, so let's do metal. No. Well, yeah, but I'm also gonna, I see a couple of spots that the wood grain showed through, so I'll just use the Poxa paint pen to touch that up. Make my life a little easier. Since it's a unicorn, let's dry brush the horn white, titanium white. Oh, that's black. That's the next one. There we go. Last few streams. Okay, I didn't know I changed anything different. Other than I put a light over here, but then again, I don't know where I am right now. Pentaceratops and a Tabosaurus. You're the only one who knows. Yeah, guys. Actually, a big fan of Pentaceratops. I like ceratopsians like as much as T-Rex is my favorite, and I think will always be. Like if you gave me a Triceratops, if there was like, hey, we're gonna make a one of one dinosaur just for you, Famine. This is our science's thanks for all your contributions to the art and dinosaur world, which I've made none that are of any value other than my art being value of its own. I would be like, hell yeah, give me a ceratopsian, give me that beautiful crest on the back, give me those gorgeous horns, those big tree trunks for legs. That's a Pachycephalosaurus, Bjorn. Next, you'll say, the one with the pompadour, Elvis. See, a little white just makes that look a little bit better, a little bit more unicornish. And this white, because it's got titanium in it, dries up fast, which is why I'm truly learning to only use a little bit, especially when dry brushing and you kind of like put it on your palette and then essentially wipe most of it off your brush. Okay, so now we've got like a nice unicorn look there. Let's see here. What are we gonna do for those things? I did orange and white on most of the trophy boards over there. So I'm thinking maybe I just do white dry brush on those. Which just gives it a little bit of character, a little bit of a pop, some pizzazz, but it's not too excessive. It stands out on camera, shows the depth. I'm kind of digging the white, just the So it seems like I just made my answer up for myself, is that I'm doing white. I don't know about the orange. But I think that white just gives it enough notice. Maybe... not orange. Not blue either. Go on now, get! Go on from here. Yeah, we'll do... Use a Sharpie. We'll do bronze. And how I'll do this is I'll just do it along a couple of spots on the frame. Give it like that. At one point, this might have been an important frame. Look. And that's that. We'll come here. Come across the back. And there we go. Yes, I just said come across the back. Try and keep it together, children. It's subtle, but it's there. And subtlety's overrated. There we go. Cool. I like it. Like I said, I think I'm going to put a little black around the eyes, and I will do that with not a wash, but actual black paint, which again, I am running dangerously low on. I really need to get out and get some. I don't get to that end of Albany anymore, or not often, I should say. But I do like to support my local art stores and my local hobby stores. So I will get out there to get some. Just wet that. A little bit of black paint. Get inside the eye. Here we are. Try and do the same thing with the nostril. Cool. Same thing with that nostril there. That's there inside the eyeball. So I've got just enough, give it a little depth. And then why not? We'll take a little bit of the black and just do the inside of the mouth, so that when people are looking up into it, it adds some shadow and some effect. There we go. And then we got a little unicorn wall mount that we can be happy with. We can display it as a trophy and gimmick. We've also already got a little electronics panel here. I'd say that glue is good and dry. So go ahead and clean that brush out. And put that back there. So let's get some Mod Podge on here. I have a brush that I'm going to use for that right this second. And take that here. Hell yeah. 4 TVC Bo-Katans. I have a good handful of Bo-Katan and Casca reeds, because they were inexpensive at one point, and then Bo went back on sale again because she got new shoulder armor and a new head sculpt. So the other one that was out at the time, that came down in price, so I scooped up those as well. Yep, buddy. Okay. And that's all podged. So we're just like, we're making progress here, kids. We're making progress. Now, I have some posters that I took down, or cut to hang, to display. Found the images on, what's that website called? Oh, google.com. And I printed them on LaserJet, so the ink does not run. And that was the first thing. That's the number one thing you should remember when you're printing, is print on LaserJet. Inkjet will run. LaserJet will not run. But I went ahead and printed out a whole bunch of different logos, and I did a bunch of blue suns because I like Firefly. I like the idea that there's just a bunch of those crates and things kicking around. Now, I want to make this look worn. So the first thing I learned, and this was a trick that I learned from our pal Jason Jensen, so shout out to Jason. But to make a poster look like it's one of the, old ones that have been living there, is get some sandpaper or a sanding stick, and let me use the rougher side. Sand the back of the paper, Just be gentle with it, but firm in your application. And just as the paper starts to thin and you could start to see the logo through the paper, that's when you want to dial it back. And what that does is it creates a piece of paper that's going to lay a lot flatter when you put it on especially a rigid surface. Like a lot of mine tend to have texture, so I need the paper to lie flatter. But also you can, go through a little bit in certain spots. Make the corners, like really spend some time on the corners if you want to, like I am. Now, I've seen people do something similar with medieval designs that they're putting up on like their castles for tabletop gamings, and they'll scorch it to make it look like maybe there was a flaming arrow in it at one point, or they'll leave like the arrow stuck in there, but it looks like it burned out. What I recommend is, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do fire, make sure that when you place this against the wall, like say I scorched the bottom a little bit or whatever, when you place it against the wall, make sure that there's a little discoloration there from the fire that was against the wall. And again, it's one of those things that'll make it look more realistic. Instead of like, oh, this poster was on fire at one point and then they stuck it to a wall. It really doesn't make sense. Okay. There we go. And I am now. I'm starting to get a couple little tear holes and folds because I'm giant hands McClumsy over here. And it really does help just sanding away to the edge to soften the edges up so that when they go on, they look like a poster, because that's, no matter what, that's where the poster is going to start to naturally peel and wear, is along the edges. Again, like I said, when you're walking around the city, you're looking at artwork or designs that are up, pay attention to these things, and you'll see, like, people just out of habit, like, try and pick them off, or maybe somebody really wants that poster, doesn't want it there, so they'll dig at the corners, and that causes it to peel. Weather, rain falls down, gravity works, and it peels it up. So just little things like that. So now I've got a much thinner, you can really see through the back of the Blue Sun logo. And now I'm going to take the softer sanding stick, and I'm just going to get a couple of spots here. And I say softer, it's actually the finer grit. Put that off there. Now, if you really want to, you can go back with the rough edge. Cause a little chaos on it. And I just try and remind myself to work in one direction. You know, because they say you don't know that you're beautiful. I think that's an important message for everyone. Now we'll go like this. One of my favorite things from the 90s. A little less so today because it doesn't seem like it happens more often. But like when stores used to get posters, they'd come flat packed, like underneath the case of Waters or underneath the case of Arizona iced teas or Snapple or whatever. And they'd put the poster on the windows, or they'd tack it up to the store wall and it'd have those crease lines. And that's another one of those, just like, it's very real to me to see those on things. So I'm just going to assume that this was like a Blue Sun. Somebody got the artwork and it was printed and they had it folded. Maybe it was sent to them folded. Who knows? Because I don't know what this is going to go on right this second. But now we've got a lived-in poster, right? But it's, even though it's outer space, even though it's gimmick where it doesn't rain all the time, it's still sun, weather. So I just want to stain this a little bit. And I could do, you know, we could do the dirty water staining. What in tarnation is that from? What the hell are you on there for? I don't know you. But we could do the dirty water. That's one way. We could do coffee, but I don't have any coffee here. I do have the burnt sienna umber, so I guess I'll just a little bit of black dirty water on there. Just in a couple of spots. Maybe it was in somewhere that grossness ran down, right? So there we got that. And then let's do contrast paint. We'll do Flesh Slayer. What is it? Fire Slayer Flesh. Just took a tiniest little drop of that. Put it on the brush. Now I'm tapping it off mostly. Couple of spots here. Again. Hello, Daisy. You already made your cameo for this episode, honey. You just don't know how to stay off tables and things. Damn the Black Series on a day Finally got the stranger in TVC. They blow us out of the water with Quinlan Voss. Yep, Tales of the Jedi Dooku. Yeah. Well, I don't have coffee in front of me, Abby. I had my caffeine earlier. I'll probably have a little caffeine later. Depending on how long y'all are hanging out and streaming with me. But you also want to add stranger colors, so even more. So we'll use some of this orange shade. Some of these colors, you're going to see them and you're going to be like, Famine, why did you get these? When I first started painting figures again, I was picking up paints that were like, oh, this one's on clearance because not a lot of people are using it. I didn't think it through of like, hey, maybe this paint wasn't the best grade, or maybe this paint wasn't as transparent, or wasn't as thick. I didn't know, so I just picked up a few colors. So I'll have like random airbrush shades and things like that. But they all work and they all have different uses. I just don't often use them. So we'll just take a little bit of the orange on there. That looks a little bit yellow. Yeah, hell yeah. Right along the bottom. And you guys know me, not afraid to blend with my finger. I don't know, is that a good thing? Make messes. And then we'll do, yellow is another common color that you see staining things, but like greens. Greens are one, so maybe we do a, like a transparent green, right? Yeah, it's like, oops. Some alien got its weird blood on this poster. And it's like, oops. Old Famine comes along with a piece of paper. Cool. So got that on there now. And now I'm going to use this wet brush that I've been mixing all these colors on to kind of blend that green. Use my finger. Tap that green in a couple of spots. Now we're starting to have a very like world-worn poster here, but I want a little bit more. Raw sienna ink it is. But, oh, right there on the table. I'll just use that droplet on the table. Waste not, want not, kids. Just use the bristles to soak it up. Get on the bottom there, right there. Tap that out of the brush. Now, cool, cool, cool. And you see, this is why I do the laser jet. Because none of it's running, right? Now I've got a really weathered Blue Sun poster, and if you want to, you could put a hole in it. You know, maybe somebody was blasting out. Let's put some stickers or some graffiti on there. Like maybe some. That one's too big. All right. So I've got my fake, like, caution lines / crime scene bullshit here. Let's go. We'll sharpen this. And anyone just joining us, I am Famine. I do these art streams usually on Tuesdays. But today I am doing this now because I got stuff I wanted to do. And we do this weekly. We world build. We make art here. I don't do the AI thing here. I discourage the AI thing here. And yeah. Right now we're doing sci-fi world building. Cool. That's plenty. That's plenty right there. So we'll go ahead and snip this here. But if this is your jam and you want to see more, you can always sign up to Patreon. That helps keep the channel afloat, helps keep me able to do this, and quite literally keeps the lights on. It does help pay the electricity bills, if we're being honest. You can also become a channel member. I know we have a couple of those, which is also very cool. You go on Amazon and buy my book. It's almost Halloween, Tales of the Undead. You know, something spooky for the season. Maybe buy like 20 copies and give them out to trick-or-treaters. Kids like to read, right, instead of candy. No, that was just me. All right, that's fair. But yeah, super chats are active if you're into that. Ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/FamonStudios. We'll do... Put that across there. Like somebody put a piece of caution tape across. Now, if I wish I had some clear packing tape, because that would be cool. That would make that look like really glossy. I don't want to put Mod Podge on it. Yeah, in the future, if you ever do caution tape, I also have these available on my Patreon page that you can download. You can just print them out on LaserJet. Again, LaserJet, not inkjet, LaserJet. But like, yeah, so we'll do not super glue. We'll do my extra strength glue stick. One of just my favorite tools, especially for strips of things. And I just literally use my thumb to hold it down so that it gets an even pressure. And we'll just put a piece of that right there, right? Tap that on. We'll let that dry, and then we'll cut the tape so it looks like it was, you know, jagged and torn off of there. It's just little things like that. And especially, that's another one of those things you see in cities and you also see on trucks, on businesses. Sometimes they'll just layer shit on billboards, old billboards. They will just layer things right on top of the other, and just build up a stack of, like, posters. Some stores around here, I know they just, like, when people come and put up flyers for community events, they'll just place them up, and just people will keep putting their community event flyer because the store really doesn't maintain that board that's for the community. So if you don't come get your, you know, I'm selling piano lessons or teaching art classes, if you want to sign up, take a number, people will just stack stuff on top of it and it gets built up, and sometimes it sits there. All right, so I got that piece off. And I mean, you can hold on these little pieces. They're good to like put on stairs and whatnot, or as caution on edges of things. That's garbage. And then like for here, we'll cut this at like that angle, and we'll just leave, I'll make a little tear here and there. Do a little work on the bottom of that. And that makes it look like it was cut off, like somebody tore it off. We can do that over here too. There we go. So now we've got this, all kinds of different textures, different colors. And then as far as like the detailing goes, I did the creases on the poster, which you can see there. They're a lot better in like the good lighting. But then I've also got something that goes over that to show that this has been on there longer than this poster. You know, it's more recent than when this poster was put up, and it wasn't part of that folded up business. So again, just little things like that really help upsell the value of the background details that you're doing, things like that. So again, here's what we started with. Nice Blue Sun LaserJet, nice and shiny, you know, nice thick paper. And now we've got this weathered up, thinned, so the light can really grab through. But when I apply that to a surface that's not smooth, it's going to glue really well. So again, we'll do the comparison. Brand new, old and busted, new hotness. Old and busted, new hotness, but we want the old and busted. So, yeah. Check out the chat. Abby said no coffee, like you took that personally, like no coffee. Oh God, man's gonna die. Thank you. Thank you. And I like making these little things like this type of stuff. Sells like, look at all the shit I've got on my walls. Like, I love things on walls. I like that. Let me see here. Ugh. I can actually take you guys on a journey. There we go. And let's see. There's a button here. Let's see what this does. Hey, look at that. So as you can see, inside of Gimmick here, I like putting advertisements up. This is like the city street level proper. There's the dinosaur I was talking about, like there. Artwork, layered upon artwork. Hot babes in space helmets. Advertisements. Graffiti over them. Like, these are the things that I like in my science fiction. Like little piles of rubble in corners. That's a very common thing. Worn down footpaths. Action figures knocked over. Crumpled up sheets of paper on the ground. Yeah. Then we got, you know, over in here. Advertisements. This area doesn't have so many yet because it's more like a really public square of high traffic. But they certainly sent a message with that. There's those toothpicks that I used on his helmet for spikes. Signed compliments of Anthony there for the warehouse. And I just want to populate backgrounds, make things look more lived in, add textures. Oh yeah. So that's what we're making. We're making things. We're making things happen today. Aha, yes, an A-wing. These aren't the droids you're looking for. So we've got, look at this, we've already banged out in like an hour's time. Probably less than an hour, honestly. I fucked around and messed with the cat for a little bit first. Thank you, thank you. So, we've got a blue sun poster. Let's beat the hell. We turned a little briefcase into a panel, some type of electronic panel that'll hang on a wall or like against the ship, who knows. We did the unicorn thing, so now we can mount that up. Just another skull trophy for the Mandalorian. So I could do the face down, ass up skeleton for Halloween. That's spooky, right? When in reality, it's supposed to be like this. And I was going to sculpt a Ithorian head, or maybe make that a Cyclops. Oh, yeah, you can't see how it's supposed to sit, but his leggies are supposed to be like this, because he was just a straight, like, 5 POA, not even POA, it didn't articulate at all, it was just like, boop, like T-pose skeleton. So I cut it up and started gluing it together. Yeah. That's just another thing that I was working on. But while I jackjaw with you guys here, do a little more weathering. Got a space, I made it into a space gas tank because it's like, hey, it's a gas tank, and then I put a long spigot on there that's like phallic space gas thing. Turn it upside down. Filling ships with Zilla fuel or something. I don't know. I don't know. But needs to be weathered because bright plastic yellow ain't exactly in my world there. It's all, any yellows are like dinged up, dingy. So we'll just do some scratches, digs. And I don't know if you've ever seen these plastic jerry cans. They get beat to hell. They expand and shrink with the heat. People toss them around. You loan them to somebody, it comes back all dinged up, half full with like fuel for the lawnmower, or not even for the lawnmower, for like a chainsaw. So they put 2-in-1 oil in it. And or bar and chain oil. So like these things get really beat to hell. Be still at work next time I'm snagging it. Hell yeah. Call it the Bjorn wing. Get it? Because it's a B wing and your name's Bjorn. Right now I'm just packing in this black paint into the crannies and nooks. This isn't even really like a wash. Like I'm literally just jamming paint into spaces to make sure that it gets all in there and on my hands and things like that. I'm not too precious about it. You guys know me. I'll sit here and work until my hands are too much, and then I'll clean up. Let's see, missed a spot there. So we'll do that. That's all over there. Let's do another greasy color. Yeah. Nope, that's gonna stay over here. Not Elm oil yet. We'll do crappy cardinal red. I have a reason for this. What that reason is, I don't know yet. I'll just put a little bit on there, and that's Folk Art Cardinal Red, one of my favorite reds. Yeah, that's fine. You lay there. That's good. Get that on the brush. Now we'll work on getting most of it off the brush. But there, some on the bottom. Again, clean that off the brush there. And now it's nice and grody, and I just cleaned that brush pretty well. And now I'm just going to go in one direction down. So what would be down on this? The brush is just a little damp, just damp enough to help blend it and hit the high points and push these colors together into those recesses and flow down. And it starts to just look like this container is a friggin' mess. And that's what you want. See, now it's starting to look like it's been kicking around a shop for a while, been beat to hell. Now the handle tend to be the cleanest part because people grab it, you know, wipe it off if they spill on it because it's the handle. And there you go. Now we've got a little dirtied up fuel container. And again, just work down, hit the high points with the dryer bit, and it adds that depth, you know, because this thing's been clunking around, so it's been banging off of stuff. You really can't fuck this up. And there we go. We got a space fuel container. Another thing, we're cooking with gas today. We could do another fuel container. I don't think I want to do this one right now. But this one actually has a holder, so it would need to be, I mean, it could be attached to something. It doesn't need to be. But you'd attach it and then just, boop, push that back in there. But I don't need to do that one right now. I can do this crate, though. I can do this shipping crate. So I think we'll Scotch braid this right now while you guys are chatting about starships. I don't know that I have a favorite starfighter. I know I have a favorite ship, but And I'm just using regular red Scotch-Brite because it's abrasive. It takes the shine off of the plastic, off these crates. And this was actually sent to me by somebody, and I cannot for the life of me remember who sent it to me right now, and I feel kind of terrible. The crate, not the Scotch-Brite. But thank you. Because I think it was Aunt. Aunt sent this to me. The ARC 1700. I like the Jedi. I think I like the Episode 3 Jedi Starfighters the best. Those just really... It's so nostalgic for me. Like, that's my fighter. X-Wings are cool and all, but man, you're never going to be as cool as Anakin and Obi-Wan working their way towards the ship and just that whole, this is where the fun begins. You sent me this little crate, I believe, in the package that you sent me. A military crate. It's like fake Lego. Flego. False Lego. You know, Lego for liars. Wish I could trade credit. No. Well, I for sure didn't buy the goddamn thing, so somebody sent it to me. Or maybe I got it at a flea market and I just completely blacked out and pushed it out of my memory, which is possible. So now we got, like, took the shine off of it. That's cool. That could fit right into any diorama. You could just leave it like this, and that's cool. It's not too shiny. It's not too glossy, just as long as you don't show off the Lego on the bottom. That's really high shine. But I'm me. So let's do, yeah, we'll do a, we'll put a seal on it, and then we'll break the seal. So we've got this. Cut it even nicer. So we've got a piece of that yellow caution. And we'll do the same thing again. Right on the glue stick. Back and forth. And then we'll put that like right on the crate as almost like an evidence seal. Like, oh, it's been sealed at some point, or maybe it was for travel. We'll just let that dry, and then we'll tear it. Make it look like, you know, it was just sealed for security purposes. Who the fuck knows? Let's see. We'll do that, and we'll take... My palm is itchy, and I don't know why. I can't tell if it's the good palm is itchy, like I'm going to come into money, or if I'm going to spend money. So, I mean, if somebody wants to give me money to, like, answer that. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. So it's unfair back. That'll do for you. Let's do... I'm going to use... What do I got for stickers over here that I don't have to go far for? Ah, I do got some Star Wars stickers over here. Could add some detail to some things. Cool. I've got some stickers from one of the ships. I don't ever put them on the ships unless I like really want it to look like that thing, so I just use the bits and pieces. So I'll use a couple of these red and black stripe pieces to put on here. Make it look like there were some sort of labeling to go on this. So let's see here. We'll go boop. Got one here. And again, we'll put this, we'll make it I'm trying to think of how I want this. Yeah, right on the top. Just make it seem like it's something of importance. Or come on, buddy. There you go. There we go. some sort of like military hardware logo or marking. We'll do 3 of them because 3 is interesting. I learned that that like 3 is a visual interest number. So you could do like 1 or 3. We'll do another one here. Maybe we'll just overlap that one. Make it look like they were just piling them up because it's some type of important sticker. And then the 3rd one, we'll put right kind of near those ones so you can tell that, you know, there's something. I'll just use that knife, push that in the corner, push that in the corner. Boom. Got some stickers on there. We don't know what they're for. Now you got a crate that's like starting to get maybe travel stickers or whatever. Let's take a scissor and we'll cut this piece of gray out of here. I don't know what this is for, but I like it and I'm gonna use it. So I've just cut a little piece of sticker, like the edge of a sticker off. Something that was the excess before the little cutter, the plotter went and cut it out. And I'm just gonna use this to make some type of broken seal on this crate. Maybe this is something smuggled in. And if you guys know any smugglers in Gimmick, no you don't. What you know are perfectly legitimate business people who help get things to people that pay good money for them. And I certainly don't want to implicate anybody at the Rusty Jackalope Provisions Company. But this may be a legitimate piece of post that moved through there and was delivered. So now I just have to use my knife to separate the sticker part from the paper, because I didn't think that through when I trimmed off the spot where I could have grabbed it. That's just because I'm me. That's because I'm all famine. There we go. Nope, I dropped it. Son of a bitch. Is this what you signed up for? Is this why I hate AI? You couldn't pay AI to fuck with a sticker like this. There we go. If anything, son of a bitch. If anything, you paid to see the human inefficiency at work here. There we go. Got it. Boy, that famine guy. We'll put this sticker right here. Make it tucked in nice with this knife. So we'll tuck this part in right here with this knife. Just push that up. Hi, Daisy. All right. And that's cut there. And then this one is cut there as though it's been opened. No Daisy. So now we've got a case. It's starting to come together. It's got weird stickers and markings on it. I don't want to use those stickers anymore. Too much of a good thing. Too much of a thing, I should say. I do have some stickers down here. We'd certainly thumb through. I got a lot of dinosaur stickers. Those don't help. Some of my Akira sticker designs. Those are small enough to where they're kind of like noticeable. Like you wouldn't be able to really tell what they were unless you were looking close. And I mean, it makes sense. Let's see, we got Imperial logos. No, I don't want to use those. Nuka-Cola, way too big, and I don't want this to necessarily be a, oh, there's a poster that I can hang up and gimmick. Don't necessarily want this to be contraband, per se. Here we go. Here's some stuff. Alright, we got more caution designs, which look different than the other ones, so I think I might use one of those and maybe some of these smaller little stickers as like travel things, I guess. No, Miss Daisy, I hear you, and I told you no, and we went over why, because you're a delinquent who can't stay off of surfaces that she doesn't belong on. And I love you. I love you so much. You're so beautiful. Yeah, you are. You are so beautiful. But you do crime. You do cat crime. Okay, piece there. And then we'll go completely crazy. And we'll do a seal going the long way. Like peanut butter and jelly the long way. Right? And then I just cut that with a knife, which then completely pushes it into the seam, but that's okay. I'll just sharpen my knife again. It's almost time to change this blade. But it is not this day. Here we go. Son of a bitch. Whatever, that's cool. No, I don't like that. I don't like it. What are we working on? What am I working on again? Yeah, no, he's been falling into a bastoon hole. I don't want that on there. All right, so let's see. Piece of paper. Okay. And then I'm just gonna cut out some stuff here. I'll do a bunch of little. Cut out the Canon logo. That's always a noticeable one. A familiar one. Cool. So now we got some little things that we can stick on. We'll cut out the Japanese one. And if you haven't already, which I know you guys probably all have, smack the like button. Maybe hit the share button. You don't actually have to share it. I mean, it'd be cool if you did. Share it with a friend or an enemy. But apparently that tells the algorithm, like, hey, this person's doing something worth showing people. Which, you would think that the content itself would show people that, but I don't know. I just work here. But yeah. And yes, Daisy Doo, I hear you. I'm just choosing to ignore you because, again, you're a delinquent. She got to meet Bjorn earlier, and now she thinks she's somebody famous. All right, so we're going to put this on that side. Just looks like a little sticker. That's cool. Then we'll take the Canon logo here. I'm going to trim that up carefully as to not take my fingertips with it, because I have giant sausage fingers. Ladies, fellas. All right, Canon sticker. We're going to make this, oop, get a little bit to trim off there. Make this a sticker with the help of our friends there. Get off my finger. There we go. Cool. So now we've got a decorated case. I think that's enough for the decoration parts. I'm actually going to take a little Sharpie, or not a Sharpie, but paint pen, and maybe do like a name on there or something. Okay. Tables and benches for both the canteen and beyond. A lot of painting, Jenga blocks. Hell yeah. Bjorn only tunes in for the cats. No, that's fair. Nightclub singer Padme. I am curious about that figure. Yeah, we'll do FS on here, Famine Studios. Because why not? That's the only real branding that I know. It'll just be small enough to look like it's somebody's name on the case. An Arabesh. F. And then we do a little space S. Now we'll weather it once that paint dries up. And for this, I'm just going to do brown and white. Not together, because that'll make a pink, believe it or not, especially if it's a red or brown. But you'll see. So we got brown there. All right. And I'm actually just pushing dirt in between those things on there. Getting some on the stickers too. So I want some of them to appear older. I'm just gonna really lay in paint in those nooks and crannies where it would build up, because I want this to kind of look like something that somebody's halfway taken care of. You know, it gets thrown into the ship and it gets banged around, but the person might wipe it off, clean it up. I know I have like toolboxes and stuff where every once in a while when I send, you know, I take my toolboxes out for the gig and I go and do something. When I'm done, I might grab a shop towel and just wipe off whatever filth is on there. If I spilled a coffee or something, which I know is hard to believe, is as neat and tidy as I am. Or I might have spilled paint on it. All these different things, different ways of grime and stuff building up. Just like we did with the gas can. But in this case, I don't want a lot of black coloring to it because I think that would be too much. Whereas this is more natural colors on this natural looking case, and already it looks more like a olive drab military case. And so we pack that on. We'll use a different brown now. This is a saddle brown from Vallejo. few on there, a couple spots around the hinges maybe. And then, again, this is where I just take my little patent pending thing and wipe it towards the bars. So it just has that little buildup in those areas. Same here. Just get in there, wipe it down, wipe it down, wipe it down. So now you've got a box that's starting to look like it's been lived in, tossed around. We could really fuck around here since I'm pretending that this is metal. So we will add some skips and nicks and things like that. And Prince Gringo Carbon. Is that a pasta? I like that Prince guy. So we'll put a couple of dings on the corners. Really ding that up there. A couple nicks. Same over here. But now what I'll do is don't do this at home. Fire. We'll heat up this blade. Again, don't do this at home. It's nice glowing hot. And I'll brand myself with it, no. But I will push it into this. Give it a dent. Take that off. We'll let that cool. We'll be careful of that very hot blade. That will need to be changed now. But now we'll take our sanding stick, get off that flash that we created. Okay. Like I said, we want this to be all dinged up, and again, it's been tossed around ships and yards, shipyards and things like that in the back and in and out of cargo bays. So we've done that. And now we put a little dent, a hot dent in there, and I'll really go ham with like the silver weathering around that so it looks like it's a true dent in the material. Not just something that I did with a torch and a knife a second ago. And we'll go with shining silver. We won't go with gunmetal. We'll go with shining silver just to really make it pop. All right. Too much shining silver, but that's okay. So for that particular point there, using a nice fine-tipped brush with the paint so that I can kind of work it into the hole first, then around it on the edge. Really pack that in there. That's on there. And now, clean that off. We'll get most of that brown off of there. Do a little dry brush of silver and brown. I don't know, maybe it makes it a little rusty. We'll see. Yep, it does make it a little rusty. That's okay. So we'll do silver along the bottom. So I know my military crates from back when I was carrying my stuff around for certain cosplay events in metal, the bottoms got scraped to shit. And because they were military crates, people, you know, treated them like military crates because they're rugged, and that's why I got them, to keep my stuff, you know, in ship shape, as it were. So, cool. All right. And now we've got a little bit on there. A little bit around the edges and the latches, I think. It's good. Cool. And now we've got a space crate, military crate that can go into a ship to add to our pile of stuff, add to our pile of things. And, you know, I actually think I want to do this across the top here. There we go. Yeah. Yep. That's more realistic. Cool. Just another thing to add. Just another thing to add into the background of our diorama, or to put into a ship's cargo hold. All these little things that you can do. Yeah. Print spaghetti anymore? I don't know. I don't know. Sister's cat Kanye got into a fight. What did it get into a fight with? And yeah, that looks like I was going to do white, but I think the stainless steel or the shining silver actually did much better job. Thank you, Abby. Yeah, so we got some stuff made. Got his lip pretty good. Oh, poor thing. Poor cat. Here's a poster I have. This was back when I was first doing things, so I was like, oh, this is other cat cam. That's fucked up. That's funny, but it's fucked up. But I did it with packing tape over top of it and then sanded it, and I was like, that makes it look old. No, it doesn't. So we're gonna put our dry brushing skills to use here, and layering and weathering. What's the other cat? You are something else. What's the other cat, Kim? You're grounded. So we'll use some brown. Go all the way around the edges. And since there's all those grooves, all this brown paint is going to get into those and really soften this and make it look older. Neighborhood dogs. Well, damn it, make that cat an indoor cat. I say at the time of the year, be out there fussing around. Especially being called Kanye, given the givens. And that immediately helped bring that gloss down. See how much less gloss there is now? Just by doing brown on there and then wiping it into those sand marks. Too adventurous. I don't want him to find out in the part of fuck around and find out. And I like any cats, really. I love kitty cats, man. Cats and dogs are great. Like if I were ever, you know, on a dating show or something like that, and they were like, okay, Famine, are you more of a dog guy or a cat guy? I'd be like, man, I fucking love critters, dude. Like, leave me alone. You're not gonna make me pick your stupid game. Yeah. So we've got an older looking movie poster type thing that we can hang in the background. I really think I can take this down a little bit more with the shininess, so we're going to see. But Famine, doing this will remove the brown that you've packed into it. Yes, but no. See, now, I've taken it down a whole nother level. Now, it's a little more clear, but the gloss is down way more. So now we can go back with that brown. over the whole thing, spot it on there. Different colors. Yellow, maybe? I don't know. We'll see how the brown does. And then I can go just like that. And I've got an older looking movie poster or advertisement for some type of fucking robot. Cool. Just another thing to add to the world. So let's, I think I can take you over there. Where do I want to take you? I don't even know where I want to put these yet, so let's just keep making things instead of me trying to sit there and like look like a goof sitting there. This one here, this one here. No, I'll put this one here. That's what I do. That's actually how I talk to myself. I just make noise like this and make funny voice. So, in case you're ever wondering what it's like when you're not around, very similar to that. Not romantically, like, I wouldn't do that in a romantic setting. Anthony, I know you're curious. Should I kiss you here or should I kiss you here? Could you imagine? Holy Christ. Just neaten up my workspace here for a second. How you guys doing? How's things? And also today's beverage of choice is some black cherry seltzer. Store brand, not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. My paws are getting beat up today. I worked a full shift and then I came to do this right away. Usually I like give my digits a few minutes to like recover. I got some Cobra symbols, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joseph, as I sometimes say, interior panel stickers, cavity colors, and then I have water slide decals. I have some Imperial water slide decals, and then I also have like these IRL for model trains, for fuel, danger, things like that. Because some of the stuff has English, standard, basic, galactic, whatever you want to call it. But I do have just random stickers. And I also have my stickers that I got from Acid Rain. Or not Acid Rain, Chatmay with their acid line. That was, my brain just completely blanked on that. I'm like, that's not correct. You were there. You were there. So I'll put these here. I also have I have like a folder full of stickers and random sheets that I printed out to make into stickers. Or printed on printer paper, transparency paper. Oh yeah. Do I know where it is? Right over there. Am I going to get it? No. Is it right over there or is it over there? The world may never know. Put those in the water, into the paint water. Clean that brush. Trying hard to play doctor with this cat is fun. Well, just be careful. Keep it clean. Keep an eye on it. You certainly don't want to get bit by a cat, because you will need to go to the ER and get antibiotics, because no matter what, cat bites is nasty. I love kitties, but man, their bites are dangerous. Turn silver paint back to where you belong. Oh, thick gloves. All right, how are you typing with thick gloves on, you son of a bitch? Can't fool me. Just be careful. I don't want to lose you to a kitty bite. Okay? You just mean too damn much to us in this community, Bjorn. You mean too much to me. Be dying from a kitty bite. That and with the cost of going to the doctors today. Jesus Christ. All right, see? This is, I like to sometimes just take a minute and reset my station. Like I used to do in the restaurant. Even sometimes when it's busy. And when you got a second, you just fucking reset your station, put your things back together, and then you're ready to carry on like a wayward son. Garbage. I gotta get a garbage can in here, but like I've learned that I'll if I have a garbage can in here, I'll use it. I will absolutely use it. But I'll like put I'll spill acetone. I use acetone to clean my mats, but I'll spill some acetone. I'll clean it up and I'll let the rags sit and they evaporate mostly. I'll throw it in the trash can. Then it just stops evaporating and you can still smell it in the trash can. Every time you open up the trash can, it like overwhelms that. I'd rather just take my stuff to the garbage can and then when I take my trash out, because the trash can's open and breathes. Garbage can, not a garbage can. Yeah. Yeah. These up. Put my glue stick back where it goes. I don't think I'm going to be gluing anything right this moment. I have some figures I can work on. I don't necessarily know if I'm in the mood for working on a figure, whereas I'm just like in the mood to like make small victories and fast goals. So I think I'm going to slap another coat of black on these. We were working on them the other night. And I wound up having to Mod Podge them. But I'll put another coat of black on those. So hopefully I can get those painted up and we can get this bar back installed. I have to paint that up still, but we'll get that installed with those pieces into that place where the balcony is, and we'll be able to populate that shelf and light it. That's going to be fun. I have a great idea for the entrance, some statues. What Danny Trejo do? Daniel Trejo, what have you done? He is a garbage can. He is a surprisingly short individual. Like, I saw him in person and I got confused. He knows what you mean. Okay, calm down. What is this little feature here? Lighting on. What fucking lighting? What is this? What I touch? Lighting off. Is this better? I don't know. But he's just a little guy, Mr. Trejo. Just a short fella. My old son's roommate met him, and I sincerely before I saw him in person, my roommate's son met him, and he sent us a picture, and I thought sincerely that his kid was standing in a hole, or rather Danny Trejo was like standing in a hole and his kid was like up on a platform, until he zoomed out of the picture to like show. He's like, oh yeah, here he is with him, and then he pulled it back to show like the convention. And Danny Trejo is just a little guy. Filters, okay. Paul freaking McCartney was just hanging around Tulsa. That makes sense. He seems like a Tulsa guy. And Paul McCartney, he was one of the Rolling Stones, right? On a riverbank. Are you sure that was Paul McCartney and wasn't just some homeless dude? Shitster over here, yes sir. What's that House of Pain song? Put on your shit kickers and kick some shit. That's me. Put on your shit kickers and kick some shit. Imagine that's the thing that gets me demonetized and like they ban my channel from ever making any money. Is because I sang. Oh, he posted it on his Instagram page. Okay. Isn't it Sir, not Mr.? Sir Paul McCartney? I think there's the real particular about that. When you're a knight, you have to call him Sir. Sir Paul McCartney. Serple. If I was a knight, if I was like Sir Famine, you would never fucking hear the end of it. You'd be like, "Hey Famine," unless you were like really close friends with me. I'd be like, "I'm sorry, Sir Famine." That was what was that? What? Thank you, Sir Famine. I'll also take my lord, my liege. I am the owner of Castle Famine. I am the king of Castle Famine, so I could be an ass, but I don't. I don't make the cats call me that on account of they can't speak. But Daisy is the Duchess, Storm is the Duke, and Quinny Quinn is the Prince. He will be the heir to the kingdom, which explains why he's probably gonna kill me. Is Ringo Starr a knight? Isn't Ringo the only one that's still alive? And Paul McCartney? Quinn's not here to see you encourage him to take over and upset the balance. But he is he a good boy. Just sometimes he stomps on Dad's head while he's sleeping and runs around the house like a goddamn lunatic. Because he's crepuscular. But that wasn't a joke though. I thought Ringo and Paul McCartney were the only two Beatles left alive, and I didn't think that Ringo was knighted because he was the drummer. Right. Yeah, but I didn't think that Ringo was a knight or was knighted. I thought that he was just Ringo Starr. This guy's terrifying. He's standing there with this blaster. I don't know. Give me 2 seconds, kids. I want to grab a snack and check on these cats so you guys can make small talk with this guy. See if he's got the droids you're looking for. Hello, kitties. Damon's got a cosmic brownie. Don't you wish you had one? I bet you do. Yeah. Ringo was knighted in 2018. So, I don't have to call him sir unless he's using his government name. He doesn't go by Sir Ringo Starr. Pocky, which kind? Believe it or not, my personal, because nobody asked, but my personal favorite Pocky is tied between strawberry and the matcha kind. So good. Or I'll eat them both. I'll get like a 2-pack and just take strawberry matcha. Oh, so good. All right. Let those dry a little more. Sit here and digest my snack. Might give this guy a little wash real quick. Tiny. He's so little. He's so small. He looks like a little kid just, I threw up. Excuse me. Use their actual names. I imagine they have to for like royal lineage. Mochi donuts, matcha glazed. Oh my god. Fuck. Shut. Stop it. Ah. I want it. In and around my mouth. I want it. I know what I said. I said I heard it. Okay. I'm just using the black paint that was still on my little paper towel palette and some water, because I don't need to get too fancy with this one, because he is just a little worker droid. But I will do an even coating of this black wash. I used to do shoe polish washes, which are great for like living creatures and things like that, stuff that has skin, but I don't know that it's super great for like mechanical or things like that. So raspberry jelly donut. You're killing me, Smalls. I mean, I've clearly never missed a donut a day in my life, but I don't have any here now. I think my favorite donut's Boston cream. It's got to be. Just give me a nice OG Boston cream donut from Dunkin'. I know, very, very fucking cosmopolitan of me, because it's like an eclair, but it's round, and I love eclairs. So. All right. So we'll start. You guys know how I do. I just wipe the washes down in the same direction, because gravity flows down. I remember in high school, there was a whole thing about guys wouldn't eat eclairs because they were shaped like dicks, and you were gay if you ate eclairs. So I guess I was as fruity as they come, because the school had put out a bunch of donuts and stuff for us, and eclairs were amongst them, and I ate like 3. They're like, anybody eats that, you're eating dick-shaped food, that means you're gay. All right, What's your point? I'm enjoying this delicious treat. You're not. Kids are weird, man. High school kids are weird. It's like that line from Superbad. Like when they found out Jonah Hill's character was drawing dicks in school, they wouldn't even let me have dick-shaped food. You know how many foods are shaped like dicks? The best kinds. Hot dogs, ice pops, eclairs, fucking torpedoes, burritos, churros. This poor motherfucker. All right, let's get, dirty up the tool too. A bit of grease on there. A little bit of grease on a wrench, never hurt nobody. Okay, filthy my hands are. And then he just gets his little wrench in there. And again, just a quick weather job. Doesn't need a ton. He's just a little droid, but it just adds something. Makes him look a little more world-worn and useful and more real. I like doing stuff like that. I'm saying I don't want to do figures right now, but I do have this sweet wolf man that I made. I just need to pick his final look, the final part of his look. I thought about at one point using him for like a gunslinger, but I have so many Western characters that I think maybe a mechanic. I think that might be pretty cool. Make him a mechanic. Or a, like a boxer. I don't know. It's an option. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, we're cracking knuckles, baby. Here we go. Here's one I can weather. Got a Macquarie droid. And much like Chopper, he is a delinquent and a criminal. And I think, it's very clear where they got Chopper's design inspiration from. But I will give him some weathering. Except I'm going to use Nuln Oil. Because he's like a greasy little goblin. Oh, that's flesh layer. And I'm going to be a little more precious about applying this. Chopper is a war criminal, which is fine by me, because Imperials aren't citizens, aren't human beings, or whatever you want to call them in the Star Wars vocabulary. But also, like, he did some things on some planets that, eventually they're going to have to talk about. You'll notice he didn't get a medal like R2 or anybody like Luke or anything like that. And I'm just taking this Nuln Oil. And you guys know me. I just kind of put it in areas and let it do its thing. And this is a very shiny figure. So I think the Nuln Oil is going to look really great as it pools and collects, because it's going to look like actual grease run down this droid. And if anybody who's watching this in the replay and you're like, hey, fuckface, old famine ruins a toy, that's a rare toy that you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be doing that to. It's my fucking toy. I paid money for this. So kiss my ass. I'm going to go ahead and continue this. And if you want to spend money on a Macquarie droid and keep it all mint and neat and everything, you're more than welcome to. Just don't tell me how to eat my cereal. All right, go eat your own Fruity Pebbles. Because I've had that happen a couple times where somebody will see something that I posted in a story or on a reel, and they'll go, "Hey, that's really rare. You shouldn't have done that, or somebody's going to be pissed. It's like I don't collect my toys and play with my toys for other folks, right? I do it for me. And that's cool. Everybody should do that for themselves. If that person, who would really have loved this toy, if I hadn't done that, well, guess what? They can go get one and not do it to that, and they could be happy with it. I don't roll up to their party and go, man, open that sumbitch up and dump a bunch of null oil on it, or open it up and weather it. Like, I don't do those things. I don't think anybody should. So it's like, I mean, I'll peer pressure my friends to open up toys because I'm that guy. Like, oh, come on, open it up, man. You'll have a great time playing with it, blah, blah, blah. But also, I'm not like super serious about it. I'm not going to be like, dude, open it up right now. I don't. If that's what you do with your toys, that's what you do with your toys. They're yours. You spend your money on them. We're all adults, mostly. We're not grown up, but we're adults. If you want to play with your toys or you want to keep them in your packages or whatever, like, do your thing, girl. Dig in your butt, twin, whatever you got to do. But just don't tell other people that they should or should not do a certain thing with their thing that they spent money on. Like, that's one of those pet peeves of mine where it's like, you come to a creator and cry, oh, you cut up this vintage toy and blah, blah, blah. It's vintage, but also I can still go to any flea market in the United States and find the pieces at different vendors to put a whole one together. Probably like 3 or 4 of them. So like, I don't really care. I think the number one thing that I got grief on, I got grief karga on, was when I cut up that Greedo that I found at the flea market. And it was beat to shit. Body was beat to shit. So I took the head off, popped the head, cut it off, turned it into a Rhodian. And yeah, Beast of the Mesozoics, those things are pricey, but hell yeah. But like I used it and made it into a really cool figure. It's one of my favorite figures. He's chilling right over there. He's a Rhodian cook, and he lives with his husband, and it's fun, like a fun figure that I made. And people were so mad that I took the head off of this busted ass Rhodian toy. Ah, it's vintage. Okay. It's also beat to shit, and I paid for it. Like, I found it in the flea market, turned it into something. I spent the money on it. And just people, I got a couple of comments that I deleted. I don't normally delete comments, but like things like that where I'm just like, do not waste my time. That's a waste of time to harass somebody over that. But it's your toy, your things. If that's like your jam and you're like, hey, I'm not going to do that with mine, more power to you. I'll support you. I see Ant, Ant every once in a while he sends me a picture and I see his mint on card collection there, and I don't judge. I'm like, man, I want to open those, but I don't judge. Open them up. What? Who said that? That Stormtrooper say that? Open them, sir. Open those toys. That's crazy. He said that, not me. Yeah. He's just a greasy little astromech that looks like he's about to cause crime. I don't know, I might use the paint markers and add some color to those buttons and panels. But I'm going to let that null oil dry for a bit. I pulled this one out of my bin. Another bar. I might print out about, yeah, your Ghost Crew are the ones that I want you to open. Those are the ones, man. That's the one thing, like, I didn't get the Ghost for. Yeah, I miss out on the Ghost. But, like, I wish that somehow, without me paying for somebody's Ghost, like, I could get my hands on those figures, because they're so fucking cool. But, like, I used my Kanan, and I kit bashed a Mandalorian mercenary that I'm going to be painting. But, like, I'd love to have the other head sculpt to put on my other Kanan figure, because I have another one that's going to go with Ezra over there talking to my custom from the Disney parks. But yeah, hell yeah, this figure, dude, is a great figure. Yeah, the blind head sculpt, yep. Because I have the ponytail, I think it's the ponytail one from the B-Wing that he came with, but it's not as realistic as this one. But yeah, like this little Mando that I made, and that I will paint eventually. Fuck yeah, dude. Like, just a badass figure. He's got great boots, great body. Yes, my image is reversed, sir, and I don't know how to fix it. Let me see. Maybe if I push this button. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's retouch. We don't want that on. Why do you give me all these options all of a sudden? I didn't sign up for this. Cobb Vanth legs. Yes, they do. And also the forearms swap perfectly as well, because that's what I did, is I pulled that forearm for the gauntlet. I actually had taken these off the figure, but I put robot arms on him and gave him robot fists. And it's like, want to give you a knuckle sandwich, but I'm a wolf man. Arroo! Who the hell knows? But this, I'm really happy with this kit bash. This is Kanan. This Kanan right here. He says, pausing, realizing that the figure was just here, and then he moved it somewhere. Now I can't remember where he moved it to. Did it fall? Did one of the cats get a hold of it? Who knows? But I do have another one. But yeah. I think I have two, actually. Oh, there it is. Do. And Aunt will tell you, I cleaned this station today. I had this table, like, all cleaned up. But I suffer from, like, little containeritis where I put things. Sorry. That's my, I bring this with me when I go, it's a black light, but I bring it with me when I go thrifting to find uranium glass and manganese glass. Little tip for you. But yeah, I've got Kanan, and it's a great figure, but I want, like, the blind with the mask head to go on here. But I'm sure I could find one. I'm 1,000% sure somebody's casted them. But yeah, these bar pieces, I actually find the sets mint on card for like $10 at flea markets all the time, or I'll just find this as like $1 table. So I scoop them up. If you're interested and I come across them, I'll grab them and just send them to you. Choir duties. Hey, Ave Maria and all that. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing a public, almost like a park bench, like do the stools and paint on or print out. I'm actually going to print out because I don't have the level of steady hand, but print out a sabbath table here and a like oh, what's the chess game? I can't believe my brain is completely blanking on this. Like, this is the... Well, anyway. But put the two tables on here. On here is like a public... Dejaric, thank you. But like as a public park table. And have somebody as a, you know, kind of like a card shark Savik player that's, you know, gambling for money, and just have that. But that's why I pulled this one out, pop the bottom off, because I want it to be, I'm going to paint it to look different. But as far as the surface goes, I do want to print it out. Mushroom peg? Who's pegging who? I didn't peg you as a gentleman. Well, you haven't pegged me at all. Buy me dinner first. But yeah. So I have this this pulled out for that purpose. I have these pieces here. I love this is fun for me. If you guys are comfortable with me doing this and just shooting the shit and showing off all my crap that I've saved up to make things, I will gladly do this all evening. But I've got these pieces together. This was a cast from Raul, Mecha Station Diorama Accessories. Great guy. Always takes care when he sends over kits and things like that. But this was one of his cast chairs. I repainted that up. This was a base for the comedian from the DC, when DC was producing the figures. I just saved this. And then this is the inside of like a Hallmark jukebox ornament that I took apart. And I was thinking of like, this guy is kind of like the lowest crime boss at the bottom. Like, he just thinks, kind of like Badger, like Ant and I were talking, kind of like Badger and Firefly. And instead of a building, like initially I was like, oh, I'll give him a shipping container building. I was like, no, he's going to have a tent. It's going to be like he's going to call it a yurt. That's going to be like his, oh, come into my yurt. It's a fucking tent. It's like a circus tent, right? Oh, come into my yurt. But he's got his throne, and his throne is literally going to be junk put together in a platform. And I'm going to make him a little guy, a little bit shorter, so that he's up overlooking everybody. And the back will be broken blasters and things that he's got from people, wanted posters of like him when he was a criminal, when he was a criminal before he was a proper member of society. But I just thought that was cool. And I put that together and I was like, that's fucking perfect. Like, I had this and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just put like a couple of stands there. And then when I took the jukebox apart and I was like going through and I saw it and it kind of flipped like this. And I was like, oh, and I grabbed this and set it. And I was like, does this sit here? Can this get, and it does. So I'm like, hell yeah. Now this guy's got his chair and he can have his, he could have guard 1 and guard 2 hanging out next to him. And I just thought that was like a really neat thing. So that's one of the builds that I have once I just figure out how far I want to take it, what I want to put on the back. I got all kinds of things here. I think Abby... Who's that dingus? This guy here? That is Starkiller from the very first draft of Star Wars McQuarrie figures. He came with a oxygen mask and a backpack and this lightsaber, which I was using for something. But he has the McQuarrie style with the flared lightsaber blade yellow. Luke Starkiller. But yeah. I don't like the head sculpt. I really don't. So I probably will swap that eventually. But he's got a cool, like, very generic spacer body, almost like Eagle Force type. But yeah. But I've got, I think I told Zilla and Dom, Ant, and maybe Abby, and probably Bjorn. I was very excited. I like the Toyota, why am my meds are probably wearing off is why. What's the Helix, Toyota Helix. If you know, well, everyone that's here, if you know what the Toyota Helix is, it's a vehicle you cannot get in the United States. There are plenty of reasons why, but it's become like this mythical white whale for people. They get used in foreign countries for war. Toyota sells these bare bones trucks and they are fucking bomb proof. They last forever. You can fix them with like a socket wrench and some zip ties and some toothpaste if you needed to. So I'm on Temu and I came across this listing and it was a Helix. It was a Toyota Helix 1/18 scale truck. And I bought it, or not Temu, AliExpress. And I'd never ordered from AliExpress before. I was always hesitant, but Dom was like really swearing by them, and I see that they've gotten better. What I got was the gunner kit for the back of said truck. They didn't have truck. So it has the roll cage, the thing that goes on top, port for the gun. So I'm like kind of annoyed, but it was so cheap. It was so funny. I was just like, are you like, the package came and it was a bubble wrap package from China. And I'm like, don't really think there's a truck in there. I'm like, I'm certain there's not a truck in there. Or I'm going to open it up and it's this little truck. No, it's just those things, but now I've got them. I could do a million things. I've been sitting here looking at this, and like this could be a push, cut this flush here, and that could be a push bar or a cattle bar or a blurg bar to push the blurgs away. I like to use these from other things. You guys can see them. I use them as railings over there. Here. Famine, can you point them to? Can you point us to them? Well, I sure can. Right there. Yeah, you see that laser? I use those as railings. And just make them, put a little advertisement on it. So I could do that. Probably won't. I'll probably save these, but it honestly, like, once I was like, fuck, you know, then I was like, that's funny. I've got all this extra stuff now, but it was only like $6 shipped. So what, you know, what did I think I was going to get? I don't know. I just had this idea in my head. I'll show you some of the other stuff I've got over here for like little projects. I tend to pack rat things in the space near me where I'm working because I know I'm going to get to them eventually, unless something hits me, which I think is a fly out of frame and break. Dude, because the laser. Yeah, right. But they have knocked off that railing several times because they think that that's a cat spot for them to jump up and hide over there. So they've broken that off a few times. I've had to fix it. Yeah, cats don't get to come in here anymore. Daisy came in, she walked around, she decided to get up here on this table, and I was like, okay. She kept showing Bjorn her butthole. But yeah, I tend to pack rat things right off to the side in little containers when I know I'm going to use them or should be using them soon. So I have like this collection of half-finished or part, like this thing. I'm actually going to prime this today with black. Probably paint it and stick it somewhere. So we'll do that next. But like, I use the cutoff from a project and a bunch of just various greeblies and little pieces and things that I'd clipped off, glued it on there. Yeah, Storm and Daisy came from a home where they were accessories because of their breed. They're very fancy cats. And yes, this is a Bjorn bedroll. So they kind of like just got to get on shelves and things like that and hang out because they looked elegant. Whereas here I have things on my shelves. So I just got a package with some cat shelves for them that I'm going to put up, and I'm hoping that they'll like learn. I'm hoping that they'll learn the difference. Who the fuck knows? But panels, I like saving these for my toy dinosaurs and Jurassic vehicles because they're like make like neat little roadblock stands, or you could put a gun on them, or for speeder bike. And that's what I did. I used that to hold the drying speeder bike. Here's all the pieces that I snapped off of that jukebox. Different colored clear transparent acrylics. Clear, or excuse me, metallic, nice like vacuum form pieces of plastic for decor. Some Jason Jensen panels. And then I've got a bunch of different offcuts of MDF. Again, more pieces of the jukebox that I know I can greebly onto things. I cut anything with a texture, like where it started to crack because it was old plastic, that I can now trim off with a saw and have little textured panels. Those are very Star Wars, very sci-fi. I got some razors for a wedding so that I could shave my head aside from the normal trimmer that I run over on Dew. But I saved the handle because you can always make cool stuff out of handles. This could be the seat. You could put this on like a dinosaur, and that could be the seat for the rider. You could make a xenomorph. That could be part of the head. Options. I saved as many of the little button sections from the jukeboxes I could, so I can repaint those and have those be little buttons. I save guys and ladies, everybody in between. If you shave your body hair, or you know, if you don't do laser or whatever, save the covers for the razor blades when you're done. When you throw those away, because those can be a little panel on the corner just to give it depth. You can Scotch-Brite it, put a light behind it, and it diffuses the light. Those things are useful. Here's the mask and the backpack that he came with. I popped that off because I didn't like looking at it. I saved the little, this isn't one, but this reminded me, when my seasonings are done, if I have, if it's a plastic bottle, I don't like to buy my spices in plastic. I like to buy them in glass because it helps them keep them fresh longer, and glass is more sustainable. But I popped the plastic thing with holes in it. I don't, what would you call that? It's the thing that Big Spice wants you to use to stop using so many spices. I don't know. But I'll save those round things with holes because they make good, like, vents. And just, yeah, all sorts of random stuff. Sifter? Okay. Sifter, I hardly know her. I'm sorry. What's up, Tone? Oh, now Tone walks. You guys were over there chatting in the fucking... the room and voice notes and everything, and I'm over here like, yeah, I know, I fucking sent them the link. I thought my homies would come chill out. Abby, rock star, been here since the start, since Jump Street. You guys were just fucking flapping your gums over there. Unreal, unreal. Hey, welcome. Thanks for being here, man. Any type of round plastic washer or grommet that I don't use or I get with something, he's coming. Guys, watch your eyes. It's going to be like that water gun. But I saved those. I mugged this dude with a red shirt and took his phaser, and I took his jewelry. I don't know what that's about, but neat. If you're like me and you go to the craft store and they're like, hey, we have a clearance section, and you find a bunch of little wooden beads and vases and vases and things like that, I kept those. This was a flint holder for my Zippo, and now it's not. I don't even think this was for my Zippo. I think this was for my sparker for my acetylene torch, and I had a bunch of flints in there, little flints that go in, you put it in and it strikes against the metal surface, makes the sparks, and it lights the torch. I saved the container because it's got cool texture and cool kind of transparent plastics that I could use. So I'll like throw these things if I'm like, man, that's neat. Pretty good idea that I'm going to be using that soon. Let me put it right here so I have it. So I have like a little tub of random plastic bits and pieces. I think this was like a Lego tire, maybe a fake Lego tire. Bjorn will tell me. He'll be like, yep, that's part number 67492 fucking LEGO. But I got all sorts of odds and oddities and things that I keep like right here because I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that. When I snip off my zip ties, I always save them for the textured bit because you can sand the back of it and super glue it to something, and now it's got texture to it, right? And we love texture. We love layering. And a bullet belt from a gun. I think maybe it came with that Helix truck kit that wasn't a Helix truck kit. But I saved that. I'll probably slip that into Dom's pocket when I see him next. I won't tell him. And he'll go home and he'll be like, did my boys put this in my pocket? Did I pick this up off of somebody's table? I want it to haunt him. Like, he's my friend. This is what I do to my friends. If I like you, I will do little innocent pranks. But it's like something like that where I just want him to be like, how did this get into my pocket? It's actually how I got the jewelry out of the Louvre. Is I stuck it in somebody's pocket and sent them out the door with it. But yeah, there's, back when I took COVID tests, because I was verklempt and my throat was hurting. And everybody I knew around me, they was getting the COVID. And I was like, I don't think it's the COVID, but I should take the test. My name is Mort. Take those apart. Pop them. You can either use the flat side after you paint it, or use the more interesting interior, which has all those cool ridges and grooves and little sockets. Same with this side. So I saved those. I also cut the stick that they fucking up your nose, because a lot of the times they're either solid styrene skewers or they're the hollow ones, and it's harder to get the hollow tubes now, especially since they stopped making Q-tips with them. I get it, it's wasteful, but for a crafter, having those tubes for that cheap was great. That's all I'm saying. I'm not criticizing the environmentalists, I get it, but also, that's one of those things I look out for here, because we have, like, I don't know if they're preppers or if they're just more Gen X boomer types that were raised by people who went through the Great Depression, but they'll, like, have boxes of things and at yard sales, and it's like, why do you have 48 a case like for $5, and there's like 20 cases of just boxes of tissues? Or they will have Q-tips, brand new sealed, like those. So like I kind of keep an eye out, because I'll get them that way, because they're not in stores anymore. So it's not like I'm encouraging the sales. It's just shit that they're trying to get rid of. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's my my weird little pack rabbity hobbit thing that I do, is I fill a little container and keep it next to me of the things that I know I'm going to be using sooner than later. See? Other things, I put my little metal pieces inside of this empty sardines can. It's a whole thing. I don't need sardines. It was a whole thing. But yeah, Tone, you missed, buddy. I was on a roll here, buddy. I made a little wall panel. We gave it a lens. We did a poster. We weathered a poster to hang up. We weathered another poster. Fucking unicorns. Abby killed a unicorn in front of everybody. It was crazy. And then I mounted it to a display. Weathered up this little tiny guy. Little tiny Ned B. We made a military case. We did it so it looks like it's been traveled around the world and tossed around and things. So it's like, yeah, this little case here from fucking outer space. Fuel, so we could dump some fuel into a spaceship. We put oil all over this droid. Put oil all over this goddamn droid. Now we got this thing. And you missed it all. You were fucking around. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I couldn't believe Abby landed on its back and then just snapped its neck. Absolutely fucking brutal. Great takedown. I don't even like him, but I'm sure if he was calling the UFC fight and Abby did that, Joe Rogan would lose his goddamn tits over it. Just can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Unbelievable. She just snapped that thing in half. Did you see that, guys? Let's go do some black paint as a primer. Yep, the suplex came out of nowhere, too. That was... You lifted with your legs, which was incredible. I think the tombstone pile driver was a bit much, especially because the horn, but, you know. I was just there to clean it up and dress it for the mount, that's all. Not my unicorn murder, not my problem. Get some paint on some things so we can paint it. Well, we're priming it technically. Let that dry. Actually, just touch these two up real quick. I will absolutely spray these down with some type of sealant before I put actual paint on these, though, because they need it. I feel like there's something in the mold release that, even though I soap and watered these and alcohol cleaned them, just the paint doesn't want to stick to certain areas. And I cannot figure why. Good job, Bjorn. Thank you for taking care of Kitty. Oh! I threw it. Oh, God, he's a maniac. He just threw his toy across the room. Knocked over a little droid. Just that famine guy, he's deranged. Ooh. What I need to do tonight is try and find... Someone else came home. Hold him while you put the other medicine on. Yeah, that's smart. I need to find my hot glue reserves. Because I have a lot of hot glue. I don't know where the fuck I put it. Because I went to hot glue something the other day and I used the last bit of it. And I was like, oh, I'll refill my glue gun. That way I can just turn it on to use it. Hot glue reserve does sound kind of like a drink. Come on, we got a busy bar here. What do you want tonight? Let me get a hot glue reserve. All right, guy wants a fucking hot glue reserve. Jesus Christ, you couldn't have picked an easier drink? All right, you want that shaken or you want it on the raw? Give it to me blended. Oh, fuck you and you blended. All right, Jesus Christ. I've been to that bar before. So I know what that bartender sounds like. Hey, Triple E. But yeah, hot glue reserve does sound like a drink. Let's put the fuel tank over here. Hot glue reserves, yeah. Let's see, we'll put this little fuel tank over here. We'll set it right here. Maybe they're topping something off in a minute. And we'll take the military crate. We'll stick this crate here amongst the... yeah, right up there with those. Son of a bitch. Trying to think here. Cool. And I did put up the neon rocket ship. He's got a lot of dinosaur products that come out of the dinosaurs, and I'm starting to get concerned because they're really running out of holes that he can obtain these things from. Concerns. Just some concerns. Let's put you... What you working on, Tone? You talking to this guy right there. Do-do-do. I think I need to take this apart. This served its purpose, but I'd like to use it for something else now. Okay. Mentally preparing for working on customs. For one of your lizard dudes. I am the Lizard King. I can do anything. All right. So, that. Bjorn's House of Customs, featuring customs from his house. I want that to be somebody's deck. That's not the right tool for the job. Technically, this isn't either, but I'm going to use it. Yep. Yep. Oh, yeah. So now I've got a little balcony that I can put over on there when I get ready to expand the tower. Okay, let's get that out of there. Sometimes, kids, world building is taking apart your old work and turning it into something new, or salvaging pieces of it to turn it into something new. You never know. I blame tone, specifically. Oof. Uh-oh. He said, uh-oh. You know what you did? I might have to get a certain tool out that I don't want to use right now. Certain plastic or certain metal knife. But kind of working. Set that aside for the meantime and in between time. But we got some cool, we rescued some cool bits and bobs. See, sometimes I just, like I said, sometimes you just need to take some things apart and you wind up with extra pieces. For displaying and customizing. Like I said, now I've got a little balcony piece here that I can use. Somebody maybe who's a little more fortunate in the on the planet, that they have some wood that they had made into a balcony, but they live in a slum. It's a weird dichotomy. But put that in the water. I gotta change that paint water soon. All right, kids. I have done this for 174 minutes and 53 seconds. So I appreciate Abby's dipping. I'm dipping. When I put my hand upon my hip, when I dip, you dip, we dip. But I will see you guys soon. Catch me on Instagram. I hope you're well. If you like this sort of thing, if you're watching the replay, check out the Patreon, check out the Ko-Fi. Links are in the description below. Subscribe to the channel, bell notification, and I hope you guys have an excellent Saturday night. Too sweet me. Boom. Yes, I do want to end streaming.